So I just watched Sakura's Quest episode 2 titled The Gathering of the Five Champions. So what do I think about this video, about this episode? What are my opinions? What is my thought? Before I get right to that, I just want you guys to click subscribe, like, view, comment on this video, comment on the episode if you want. Thank you. Now, back to what is my opinion, what is my thoughts. I just made this video to share my thoughts and opinion on this episode. Here we go. I gotta say, I don't know what Yoshino put in that bag that actually got Ushimatsu in a very damaged way, having that his neck was broken and he needed a crutch hook. I gotta say, she must have really given him a really good beatdown because this guy is stubborn in the most annoying and very agitating way. And she makes a deal with him saying that if she can sell all these boxes in just one, she'll be able to return back to Tokyo and that contract will be erased. Unfortunately, at the end of the episode, she failed. Now I gotta ask Yoshino, what the heck was she thinking taking a gamble with this guy? He's very conniving, very scheming, and of course, he uses guilt trip to get Yoshino to sell the boxes. Of course, this guy is very conniving. I mean, I think we should watch more episodes to get to know this guy more. Yoshino, who decides to agree to the deal, a few minutes later says to herself and Shiori that she's made a very big mistake. Yes, of course. Which one? The part where you're endeavoring in something that you have no idea on where to start or what to do, or the fact that you just made a deal with a very stubborn, conniving, vindictive, and of course scheming old man who wants to sell something that is not related to the Japanese culture. Shiori, I like the fact that Shiori and Yoshino decided that they can't do it all by themselves. So they gotta start somewhere. They go to a restaurant. They meet Mr. Takamizawa, the bus driver from last night. And then they meet this little girl named Erica. Then they meet the fortune teller who tells them to go northwest, which is the start of assembling a team. That's what the title's about. That's what the title of this episode is about. The gathering of the five champs, the gathering of the team. This is how these five ladies are gathered. This is where a search for a team begins because Shiori and Yoshino realize that they can't do it all by themselves, though they decide, okay, they're going to have to start recruiting. The first person they recruit is Saine, who just came into Manoyama a year ago and is doing a blog. But of course she has a phobia of caterpillars and books. Then we now have Ririko, who is the daughter of who is the granddaughter of the leader of the board of merchants, who is Ushimatsu's rival. She tells them about Chupacabra. She tells them that there have been sightings everywhere in South America, the US, but there's never been any sightings. Which brings me to the question, whose idea was it to name that kingdom the Kingdom of Chupacabra? Whose idea was it to make Chupacabra mongrels? In other words, whose idea was it to bring Chupacabra into Japan, into Manoyama? Whose idea? I'm pretty sure this was Ushimatsu's idea. We need to watch more of this episode of this series to actually find out. Then we now get to Maki, the character from the first episode on the train and in the cabin, who was sleeping there, who says that she's sort of like the manager. And in this episode, it was revealed that she was actually an actor in the series called The Odin Detective. Okay, we're going to delve into that as the episodes go by. Now, what is next? So they assemble all five of them. Well, first they assemble all four of them. Saine decides to put in the structure on how to get their business booming. But then the first impact didn't actually go because not a lot of people bought their Chupacabra mongrel, except for Shiori's family, who decided to buy them, so it wasn't a total loss. This is how businesses start. This is how projects start. They don't always start off successful. They start off low before they grow. Have you ever heard that saying that you gotta start from the bottom before you go to the top? That's exactly what's happening. I mean, yes, they just started and you don't expect don't expect people to jump in right ahead. Of course, given time, people will start coming. It's going to start coming. This is how businesses start. It starts off with one person. It starts up, and then it grows into multiple people, and then a lot of people start coming. That's how businesses grow. Then when that didn't actually work, they decided to bring in Ririko. Ririko's plan actually worked with the whole Chupacabra and Knight and Queen of Manoyama slaying the beast just to promote the ad, and it actually did work. Unfortunately, only one person came and bought a Chupacabra Manjo, and that was Mr. Sandal, the guy who was sitting at the back of the bus that creeped Yoshino out and she walked out in the last episode, in episode 1. That's Mr. Sandal. So it wasn't actually complete loss. Even though, yes, they didn't actually assemble an enormous amount of customers, they didn't actually attract a lot of people. Still, it did bring the 5 of them together, which is the start of something. You might say that it brought together a group of superheroes who are just started their campaign to fight against evil. So this is how Yoshino, Shiori, Saine, Maki, and Ririko assemble together. Now, another part of this episode that I actually didn't like is the fact that Yoshino, who just is thinking that once all of this is over, she's going back to Tokyo. Has anybody not watched the first episode the first episode? Is that when she was in Tokyo, she didn't find one job. She went from job interview to job interview, and she wasn't able to find one, to the point that Yoshino's family were even telling her that this is your last month here. If you don't find any job by 1 month, we're cutting you off. That's the last time they ever sent her any allowance. And not only is she gonna get cut off, but she's gonna come home. So, she's still under the delusion that there's something waiting for her there. What is waiting for you in Tokyo? Let me ask you. What is waiting for you there? Let me tell you. I understand where you're coming from. I've been where you've been, like going from job to job interviews and not finding one job can be very, very stressful. Can be very, very agitating, can be very, very annoying. It can weigh on you, it can frustrate you. I can understand that part. But you just got to Manoyama. You don't even know, you haven't even started to know about the town. And you say that once this contract is over, once this deal is over, you're going back to Tokyo. You should stay. I think Yoshino should stay. I think Yoshino should venture around Manoyama for 1 year and just write her opinion and see what do you think about Manoyama? Is it a great place to live in, or do you want to go back to Tokyo? This is just episode 2, and we're just getting started on the series. And if you guys have any questions or comments about this video, if you guys have any questions or comments about the episode, please make sure to leave them in the comments. Subscribe, click like, view, and I will see you guys in the next video.